I know what you guys have been thinking. Man, when is he gonna make tutorials about bubble pops? Well, here it is. What the fans crave. No, actually, this is just a tutorial on frame-by-frame animation and using onion skins. So we can make stuff like this. This is my first attempt at frame-by-frame effects. So let's get started. Hey everybody. So I'm gonna try and start getting into frame-by-frame animation, mainly because you guys know I really like special effects with particles. But I've come to realize that there's a lot of good special effects that are done by frame animation. If you go to this website, I was trying to look for references to create cool effects, and I came across this spot, and it's amazing. It's called flashfxblogspot.com, and you can see there's all these really good animations from games and just a lot of Flash users. And I kind of want to create something like these animations for Anime Studio, if I can. But I'm fairly new to frame-by-frame animation. I've done it on paper a long time ago, but they're just amazing. I mean, and I'm pretty sure I can replicate these type of effects, but I'm gonna start off by doing something that I've seen a lot of, and it's I found these animations on Tumblr, and these are just animated GIFs. Same thing. They're basically just animated GIFs, and this one in particular, this bubble pop, is really cool. I've seen that in a lot of animations and cauldrons and things like that. So I actually downloaded the GIF of this right here, and let's just close this, and I'm just gonna play it for a few times really quick so we can have a reference of making a frame-by-frame animation. So just blow this up and play it a couple times, or actually let me go through it step by step. So I have it in a QuickTime movie, and I'm just gonna use the arrow keys to go through. You can see it starts off as like a really flat semicircle, and with each frame it blows up bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's pretty easy to do. And then right there, you see that some holes start forming in the bubble. The stress is making it tear apart. And then the next frame, it's really tearing apart like that. And then it pops, and all these droplets form, but it's still in the shape of the bubble pretty much. And then some of the bubble, the ones closer to the bottom kind of explode outward, and the ones up here at the top kind of float for a little bit and then go down. The smaller ones hit the water or whatever liquid it is, and then finally this big blob comes down and hits the water as well, or liquid, and finally just dissipates. So the way that we do this in Anime Studio is with frame-by-frame animation, and I'm gonna start out by just drawing that, or actually using the new frame-by-frame layer. We'll just go into new layer and frame-by-frame, and basically frame-by-frame is just a bunch of switch layers that there's a little scripting behind it, I think, that allows it to just automatically play in sequence. So here's frame 1. I'm going to leave frame 1 blank, and actually, if I have frame by frame selected, you see these little buttons down here. There's a plus sign, which is add a new frame. This one is delete frame. Obviously, you know what that does. And then this one is duplicate frame, and I think I'm going to be using that quite a bit, just because it's a lot easier to alter previous frame than to just redraw. You can redraw, and I can show you really quick how to do that. So in frame 1, we'll hit new frame, and you'll see it adds a keyframe. And I'm just going to use the pencil tool, and we'll just draw a little blue ball. Actually, under the pencil tool or freehand tool, let's turn the smoothing up so it's a little bit more round. It's going to be a little easier to draw organic shape. So I'll just draw a shape here. There's my little circle, and if I hit new frame, nothing happens. You can and what that's doing is creating a new switch layer. So if I turn on onion skins, now you can see this red area right here is actually the last frame I drew. So with the pencil still selected, I can just draw another circle, just offset from that one, and add a new frame, and continue to do so on and on, like that. And add frame, then you can just start changing the shape. I really don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just playing around, and so on. So you can see here there's a bunch of layers now, and if I use the arrow keys on my keyboard, it'll go back and forth. And if I go and just hit play in the timeline, you'll see that let me we'll just play that. So it cycles through. So you can see now that it's just going frame by frame on every one that we've drawn. But the other thing that you can do, and what I'm going to use for the bubble pop, is so I'm on this last frame here that I've drawn right here. Instead, I'm going to use duplicate, and what that does is it just duplicated the entire image that I just did, and I'm going to use the magnetic tool and kind of deform the shape like this, and then hit duplicate again, and now you can see. I don't know if this is going to be a better way to animate, but I think it's going to be faster just because we're using the same shape over and over again. Hit duplicate, move it again, and you can see the shape underneath. And I can keep doing that, and shrinking it. I think it'll just be a little easier. Anime Studio's drawing tools aren't really as precise as like Illustrator tools. They're good, but they're not great. They don't have all the functionality of some other programs. So you can see there now that by duplicating, it's kind of the same effect, but I think that's going to work better for me. So enough rambling, and let's go ahead and start doing a frame-by-frame animation. And let me just start fresh. So I'll start with on frame 0, adding a frame-by-frame layer. And we'll just call this bubble. And I am going to draw with square, just fill and no stroke. And we're going to make this bubble, green. And I'm just going to draw across like this. And I'm actually going to hit T, delete one of the points. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. Let me go back. Command Z. I'm going to make this the bottom of the bubble. This is the side. Curve this out, and then let me turn the grid on. Command G, and I'm just going to snap these points so that it's all nice and symmetrical. Oops. Like that. And curve that out, and curve this out. Hit Command G, and remember that reference movie we saw, the bubble's pretty flat, so we'll start like that. Actually I want to see through the bubble too, so I'm gonna hit Q, select the color, and we're gonna go into the fill, and just make it kind of see-through. So I'm just clicking right here in the center of this column and hit OK. So now, let me go. Actually, I want it to start off blank, so I'm going to cut this. Okay, Command X. With the bubble layer selected, frame by frame, we'll hit Add. So now we're on the first frame, and I'll paste it. Command, oops, on layer 2. Sorry, I got to select the layer, go to frame 0, and Command V to paste it. And now we'll go back into the frame by frame and add a layer. And we want this to be frame 2. So I think, yeah. So there's, actually, before I go any further, let's make sure that this color, let's name it a style, and we'll just call it bubble color. That way when we change all of the, if we want to change the color of the bubble, we can do it all at once instead of going to every single frame. So there's that. And we'll add a new frame, or actually duplicate, like that. And I'm going to hit Q, or T, I'm sorry. Blow it up a little bit, and you can see in the background, the frame just before it is right there. And duplicate it again, blow it up. It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to zoom in. See the frame just before it right there. And duplicate again, blow that up. Duplicate again, blow it up. Do that again. What were we on, 8? I think I'm going to hit C to curve out the bubble a little more right there. Duplicate again. And because it's getting almost where it's going to pop, it's not going to expand upward that much, but it will expand out. So we'll just blow it up like that. And now that we're on frame, what is that, 9? Okay, now, sorry, I just made a popping noise. And let's see, okay, there's frame 9. Okay, let's start making it pop. So this time, okay, I'm gonna duplicate to start off. So here's our 10th frame, and I'm gonna make it go out just a little bit like that. And now I'm gonna add some holes. And Anime Studio is really weird with creating holes and punching shapes out. So I'm going to select it with Q, holding Q and selecting color and deleting it. So it's just an empty bubble or dome or whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to select the circle tool and draw shape, and we won't fill it. We're just going to leave it blank. So uncheck autofill, and we'll just create a couple of holes. I'm just going to draw some random holes here, and I also want to kind of tilt them inward because the bubble is curved, so these holes are going to be kind of curved too. So I'll turn them a little bit, I'll add some more points so they're not so round, and curve that, add a point or two. Don't go too crazy, I think. Do that. And just play around with the shape. It's not, you know, the frame by frame is going to be going by so fast that you won't see all the details. You just need to kind of, you know, make it halfway decent. I think that looks good. I'm going to space these out a little better, like that. So the bubble's stretching, it's feeling the tension. And I think that's probably okay. So now to fill this, what we need to do is hit U, which is this button right here. It's the Create Shape tool. And if we click on the dome, it's gonna become checkered. But we want to cut out those other shapes. So holding Shift down, we'll just click on the circles, and you can see it's punching them out or subtracting them from the selection, and then hit spacebar. And that just fills the dome with the color that you previously used. So if we scrub through, we can see that at frame 10, it starts popping. There's little rips. And if you want to be more precise, you can actually make them even smaller and add more frames. But I kind of want to make this as quick as possible because this is going to probably be really long. So now that we have this one, let's go ahead and just duplicate that again, like that. And now obviously the holes are going to be much bigger because it's starting to rip. So we'll blow this one up, blow this one up, and this one, same thing. Move that over, and let's add a little bit more, a few more points. And again, don't worry too much about the shape. The general shape is going to be the same. You can see the old shapes behind this one, but it's also just kind of imagine what this bubble would actually be doing. So we're gonna kind of make it look like now, because it's creating these holes so fast that it's tearing. So now it's like getting jagged on the edges just because of the force of the bubble popping so fast. And so that's why I'm making these kind of jagged edges, because it's being pulled so fast away. And see how this curve is following this curve, like that. And it's exploding upward. It's trying to rip the bubble apart. And, oops. And just keep in mind that I'm not really good at this. This is my first time at doing frame-by-frame animation in Anime Studio. I've used onion skinning before on the video, the G video, girls dancing, so I could try and make them dance, and that was tough. It's hard to do. But this is the first time I'm trying to make a frame-by-frame animation. So if yours doesn't look good, hey, neither does mine. So, and again, visit those spots, the websites that I showed you at the beginning, because those are, it's just best to reference when you're trying to create something new and you're out of ideas and you don't know exactly how it would be done. Look what somebody else has done. It's no shame. All artists have references of other people's work. So, but don't copy. You can copy the style, I guess. I'm kind of copying that bubble animation, but I just looked at it for reference to see visually how it was constructed and deconstructed. So now that we've got the bigger holes, I will make another one. Actually, let me undo that. Let's go back right here. And instead of duplicating this one, since this is going to burst apart, we'll go ahead and just do a new frame. So that now we have a clean slate to go from, and I'm going to use the pencil tool or the freehand tool and just draw. And I do have the freehand option set to smooth, so these are going to be nice and the curve will be really nice and smooth. And I'm going to just draw kind of like a blob here, because it's broken apart now, and then we'll draw some droplets here. And maybe here. Kind of follow. See how that kind of follows the shape in the background, like right after it popped. So do like this. And some circles right here. Broke apart. This part broke away. Now it's all jelly. Super jelly. And the bottom is gonna explode. Since it's at the very bottom, it's gonna go really fast, so we're gonna make it kind of plop splat outward. So I'm gonna follow that a little bit. Maybe it's going up, and it broke apart here, and it's kind of squirting out this way. And I probably could use this sharper edge, but that works too. So the bottom's kind of like popping out, and we'll put some little whatever liquid jellies right here, and I think that should be good. Now if you want it to look really, really good, just add more and more detail, and then you have to think again, how is this going to explode? How is this all moving? So now we've got that, and so it's broken apart. Put another little one here just for giggles. And so we'll do a duplicate, not a new frame, but a duplicate, because I want to start using the magnet tool. So I do want to delete this, the bottom, because it's going to break apart even more. So with that gone, I'm going to select the freehand tool, turn the smoothing down so it's a little bit sharper when I draw. And this is going to start just really going a little bit faster. So it's going to go way out like that. Oops. I want it to taper, so go like that. And then snap. That looks good. This one's, this kind of blob right here, this mass is going to start going outward like that too, but it's going to be its own separate little droplet. And we'll do the same with this over here. That looks pretty good. Maybe make a couple of splashes going upward like that right there. Oops. That looks good. And then in the reference animation that we looked at, the outside, like these smaller pieces kind of flew away. So we're just going to move them out like this. Clicking on them. They're going to go out. This one's going to go out about that much. This one's going to kind of go down. Everything in the center is going to kind of fall. But see how this one's falling a little to the left. This one's falling a little to the right. This one's going straight down. This one's going to go a little bit that way. This one's going to go that way. And the big blob is going to move just a tiny bit. And then we want them to look a little bit different. So turn on, or use the magnet tool. And let's go ahead and click on this and use the mouse wheel to scroll down and make it a little smaller, so it's a little bit easier to move parts around. So I just want to move these just a little bit, so they're just deformed enough to look like liquid, like they're actually changing shape, because we don't want them to be exactly the same. And oops, that's okay, grab all that. I'm gonna crush this into I'm gonna try and make it go into a ball at the end, I think, like that. And move some of this around so they don't, I don't want these shapes to look exactly the same as they did in the last frame, so they're kind of morphing like that, and this is going out. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and duplicate, and I'm gonna hit T. Move this. This one's really going out now. Put it out there. This one's going this way. This one's shooting way out. This one's a little bit heavier. It's a little thicker, so it's not going to move as much. We'll even turn it a little bit. We can turn all these two because gravity is going to make them start going back down. So we'll do like that. This one's going to fly over here, down, down and over, down into the left, down. I think they're going to get faster too. These smaller ones will probably move more, so we'll put these down like this. This one. Actually, this one looks like it's going to break apart, so let's just delete that. And I'm going to draw two new shapes. So one here, and the drop that started breaking. So they kind of snapped apart. That looks about the same-ish. And just grab these two pieces. Oops. I'm gonna zoom in with my mouse. Make that go up. Turn it a little bit. Up and turn. And that is a good tool in Anime Studios, the rotate and the move and the rotate in one tool. That's really excellent. That one's moving down some more. I think I got everything moving. This one's almost okay. And okay, so now let's duplicate that again. Oh, magnet tool. Make sure they look a little different. And let's just crush this a little bit more. That's going down. Okay, that's looking good. I'm just scrubbing through the timeline to see what it looks like. Go to there. Last keyframe. And then let's duplicate that. Now, the ones that are really going pretty far, we'll turn those because they're going to start hitting the ground, and we'll squish them a little bit too. And can't fly off forever. I'm going to start squishing this, and I think all of these are going to start hitting the water or whatever liquid it is. So we're going to actually select them and squish them a little bit. Put them down at the bottom of the last keyframe. We'll just kind of put them there, but everything's going to get squished. Oops. Zoom in, squish that. That one. Squish that too. This one's really heavy, so it's gonna just go right there. This one's gonna start landing too, so I'll squish it. And to represent them hitting the water, or liquid, sorry, I keep saying that, we're going to go to the, or hit T actually, and we're just going to make them kind of splash back outwards. So if I hit T and grab some points here, I'm just going to make them jagged on the top. And I know that looks really weird and sloppy, but it's only going to be visible for maybe 1 second, so it's okay. So make that go out like that, and that looks okay. Looks weird. Trust me though, it'll be fine. it's not, you can go back and change it anytime you want. So those are hitting. This one needs some work. It's looking really rough. But do that. Yeah, that looks okay. And this one's hitting the water, so it's gonna go like this and splatter a little bit. Same with this one, or it's gonna flatten, I guess. And I'm sorry I keep mumbling through this video. It's just that I want you to hear my thought process as I'm doing it, so you can understand what I'm thinking about as I'm rearranging these frames, because it does take a long time to do frame by frame animation. It's just to get it to the way you want it to look, you have to actually put in a lot of work, I think. Well, I don't think, I know. Traditional animators would tell you that. You have to do this. And this is way easier than using pencils. I mean, I've got all these tools and magnetic brushes and things like that, and this is way, way easier. I'm gonna shrink that a little bit. And I think that looks good. Oh, I didn't move these little dudes, but they're not going very far, so move that, twist it a little, and then duplicate, and these little dudes are just gonna disappear in the water, so I'm just gonna flatten them like that. Most of these I'm just gonna kind of flatten them because they're all hitting the water and then dissipating. And with a lot more work and a lot more tweaking, you can make these look really good. This is gonna look pretty pretty horrible. Move this one down. This guy's going down. This guy's finally hitting the water. This is this one. And I'm gonna shrink them. This one's kind of just disappearing into the nothingness. Oops. And move this, and I think I'll use the magnet just to kind of curve these to look a little nicer. And a little different. Shrink those down. Water droplets are going to get smaller as they move through the air. And right there. Okay, now I'm just going to do a new keyframe. And because I don't want to remove any of that stuff, so I'm just going to draw. So these are almost gone, so I'm just going to draw little nubbins right here. If anything at all. And this one, hitting the water. Let's make it even, oops. Let's make that even smaller, just like that. And this one's hitting the water, coming out a little bit. And that one's like that. This is, oops. This guy, he's just floating in the air. What's going on here? Oh. is not moving. So there. There. And splat. Like that. And the middle object, let's turn up the smoothing a little bit. Oops. It's coming down. It's a little smaller. This dude's right here. This guy's becoming a little drop. And that looks good. And we'll do another frame, new frame altogether. I'm just gonna, these are disappearing, all the little tiny ones. Oops. This one's still got a little something, but all these little ones right here are just gone. This guy, he hit the water and he's kind of, you know, splattering up a little bit. Let's do it on this one too. I need to see when the curve is too high or the smoothing is too high, then you can't get jagged edges. So I'm going to turn this down and then just do kind of a, we'll just call that the antler style or whatever. And, oop. Yeah. So it's hitting the water. The big bad boy's almost down. It's going slower. Oops. I don't want it to be with that many points. So we'll take this, that. New frame. We'll just leave those alone. Maybe put one here. And then this one is down. New frame. Now it's hitting, so it's gonna flatten out a little bit. New frame. And now it's gonna be a little splash like. Turn down the smoothing. Hits the water. New frame. It's going out like that. And new frame again. Oops. Command Z is your friend. And that. And one more frame. Okay. So there it is. It's not super great, but it's not bad for, you know, my first time really trying to do frame by frames. Let's see how it actually looks though. I want to render this out. So, okay, so let's go to export animation. We'll go to frame 48. Let's see how it looks. I should render pretty fast because there's no special effects. Oh, I think, is it done? Cool. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Let me loop this real quick. Not bad. That doesn't look bad at all, I don't think. Took quite a while. But I think the effect is worth it, so I'm gonna start seeing if I can make a whole bunch of other, you know, bubbles and smoke and fire, things like that with frame by frame. So I'll clean this up a little bit and render something out for you guys, and that'll be that.